All groups, whether they be associated with College Park or whether they be, discipleship groups that are happening with the Office of Faith and Service. Maybe it's going to chapel. We just want you finding opportunities to grow and be sanctified. And we also want to see you going. And I've seen that. I've walked into the Perk and I've seen some of you having discipleship moments with individuals. I've watched you have conversations out in the quad. I've watched you ask questions. I've watched you seek out for discipleship. And that's why we're here. And man, it's encouraging. And, no one could say that we are an over-programmed church by any stretch of the imagination, but we do desire for each of you to be a disciple of Christ, to be seeking discipleship, and to also be a discipler. People are watching you. And you don't always know it until maybe years down the road. Sometimes you don't ever end up knowing it. But people are watching and they're looking to you. I'll never forget being a high school, was I a senior? I think I was a senior, yeah. And I went to, a student actually had passed away on our campus suddenly in the night. And I feel really kind of foolish saying it this way, but it was one of those moments where you walked on campus and you could tell that something real had happened, but you were like, what's going on? There's just this weird vibe on campus today, and you feel like something was wrong. And I had walked into one of my favorite teachers. It was, somebody in here knows, a couple of you know, St. John. I walked into St. John's office, and we were just chatting and talking, and I said, what's going on? There's kind of a weird vibe today. And she goes, well, somebody in your class passed away over the night. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. And she goes, yeah, counselors are going to be at every door of his classes. They're going to follow his schedule around just to see if people need help. And I'm like, whew. I said, well, I'm really glad I didn't have any classes with this guy, because that just a pretty popular athlete, but that was not my circle of friends. And he was always kind of quiet and sat in the back. And then all of a sudden I started having these little moments of remembering, oh, yeah, Jason was in this class. And so the counselors are there, and everything's heavy, and the teacher, of course, was very upset. And she said, do you all want to go outside? And we were like, yeah. So we went outside, and we sat on the football stadium just as a class. And so she was kind of trying to, just let students talk if they want to talk. It's a really tragic moment to deal with something like that. And then she said, Jordan, you're a person of faith. Do you have any encouraging words? And I was like, no, nothing. Nothing comes to mind. I have nothing in my mind. I have no idea what to share. But in that moment, all that I could think of was just there were a couple passages of scripture that kind of resonated. I'm sure that I did not quote them correctly, but I got at the gist of it, right? I just kind of shared some thoughts of what I thought about, Jesus and him sustaining us and being there with us in troubled times. And I have no idea what I really actually said. I think I probably led us in a prayer at some point, and then the hour was over and we moved on. And I look back at that and I just think, whoa, and who knows what I said, and I thought I was probably really silly, and I felt really dumb. And years later, that teacher came up to me and just said, do you remember